It's the third round of the 2025 Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. We are in the Hungaroring. We are here just outside Budapest at this fabulous racing facility. It is the Hungaroring, but perhaps not quite as we know it. Huge revamps have been going on here over the course of the last several months. The circuit now with a fresh coat of paint for this weekend, featuring the International GT Open, Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux, and much more besides. And of course, the upcoming Hungarian Grand Prix as well. Jaap van Lagen for Team Race Art is your pole sitter for this race. Has not won a race so far this season. Best finish of second came last time out in Zandvoort in race 2 at the weekend behind his teammate Sam Yongyang, who got his first ever win in the series. Knudsen from second on the grid will certainly be one to watch, though, but he was around half a second off the pace of Van Lagen coming into today's race in that qualifying session. Of course, Jaap van Lagen, a very familiar name to everybody watching, I am sure, hugely venerable in the wider motorsport world, and of course with almost 20 years of Porsche Carrera Cup racing experience to his name, has done just about everything there is to do in motorsport over the course of his very impressive career in racing, and would very much love to get himself into the Hall of Winners today. Robin Knudsen then alongside Van Lagen on the front row. Frank Porte Ruiz is next alongside Nick Ho, Domas Rodonis and Niels Langeveld making your top half dozen up there. A very strong top half dozen, and you can see there 3/10 separating second through sixth. Milan Marchak next alongside Sam Yongyan, who, as we mentioned, won last time out. Alexander Reimann is next alongside Nikola Milkjevic. Henri Tuamala there down in 11th position. Just scrolling there down to the back of the field, Jules Grauls will be looking for some more positions this time. Had his best ever finish last time out at Zandvoort. And keep an eye on Max Schlickenmeyer as well there from the back of the field. I suspect he is going to have a little bit of work to do. Well, he definitely has some work to do there from the back, but I think that we can expect him to try and carve through the field in racing conditions. He, of course, is a driver in the Porsche talent pool, and he came up through the popular German Tourenwagen Junior Cup series, which certainly is somewhere to cut your teeth when it comes to racecraft. Didn't sew together a quick lap earlier on this morning in quali, however, maybe can make up some places. The entire field then separated by two seconds, which is really not much at all in the grand scheme of things. Just 2 seconds separating 17 cars. But the really impressive stat is that just over 0.4 of a second separating the front row. Jaap van Lagen was on it this morning in the Team Race Art number 69 car. Frank Porte Ruiz, though, he has been one to watch so far, has been doing great things in the rookie categorization, was really strong at Zandvoort last time out, and starts third here. What a opportunity, what a platform he has put himself on coming out of the qualifying session. Ruiz's best finish so far this year in terms of the overall standings is a 5th place, and that was the previous race of the season, Zandvoort Race 2, which was held in vastly contrasting conditions from what we have today. It was wet, there was a lot of standing water around the circuit for Race 2 at Zandvoort a month ago. We now have, though, perfect sunshine, sweltering conditions here at the Hungaroring, and a very strong field. Jaap van Lagen, though, has firmly painted the target on his back here, and I must say, again, to reiterate, Jaap van Lagen not yet a race winner this season. We've had 4 winners in 4 races so far, and Jaap van Lagen is not one of them. However, he is second in the championship. Will have gained an extra point this morning with pole position in qualifying. So 72 points for Jaap van Lagen to Robert Knudsen's 75. Knudsen still leads the championship. He was the race winner at the very start of the season in race 1 at Spa. Guest driver Bertrand Baguette won the second race of the weekend at Spa, but wasn't scoring points. So Nick Ho finished second, but actually gained the full haul of points for that in the PG Motorsport car. Then at Zandvoort in treacherous conditions, certainly on the Sunday, Niels Langeveld scored the first win on Saturday, and then San Yongyan with a emotional and very well-deserved race win. His first in Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux last time out. His father was in tears on the pit wall seeing his boy win a race in Carrera Cup Benelux for the first time. But Knudsen and Van Lagen certainly a step clear in the points consideration at the moment. 75 and 72 respectively, and then Niels Langeveld is next on 60 points, 57 for San Yongyan, who starts this race from 8th position. Of course, I already mentioned that I expect Max Schlickenmeyer to move through the field. It's also worth spotlighting, I would say, Alexandra Viteva from 14th on the grid, the Iron Dame supported athlete. She will be one to watch in the one-track racing car. Her 7th row mate, Jules Grau, has certainly come on leaps and bounds in recent times. Of course, racing very much in his blood. If you recognise that last name, Grau, it may well be from his father Roger racing in Dutch motorsport all throughout the 2000s and 2010s, racing GT1 cars even at one time. There's Jaap van Lagen though, our pole sitter for today, getting ready to fire off here in the first of two 30-minute plus 1 lap races this weekend at the Hungaroring for Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. Getting the car off the line, always, of course, an immense challenge. Those Michelin tyres being jockeyed around on the formation lap, trying to get some heat into the tyres. We've got 3 categorizations to consider here, of course. You've got the overall standings, the rookie standings, and the Pro-Am standings as well. The green flag waves at the back of the field. And when those 5 lights go out, we will be racing at the Hungaroring. It's Jaap van Lagen on the right of your picture, on the left side of the circuit, who gets a decent launch, has to cover up the inside there because Knudsen is right with him as they run down towards the first corner. Everybody picking their spots, trying to find room through this first turn. A little bit of bumping and barging, as is often the case at the first lap here in the Hungaroring, but it looks like everybody's gotten through turn 1 safely, and the top 2 on the grid are still your top 2 as they stream around the opening sector of this lap. A little bit of drama there further back. Again, people just trying to find room. In fact, is that Porte Ruiz up into 2nd position? Side-by-side action. Further back in the pack, but for now, it is Van Lagen at the front, and based on that qualifying performance, you'd expect him to have moved through the field well. To have gotten away almost from the field early on, and well, he's not quite done that. He has Porte Ruiz with him. Ruiz has moved up to 2nd position off the line by the looks of it. Indeed it is. Porte Ruiz there in 2nd position. Knudsen in 3rd. I didn't spot Porte Ruiz getting quite such a good start, but a good start he definitely did get. Running wide there, the 47 car, that Alexander Reimann, the Estonian racer, up to 6th at the 2nd sector split. Let's see if that's still the case after running wide there. I think he is still holding strong in 6th place. It is Yongyan behind him, and Yongyan was 7th at the previous split, so that makes sense. Your order then as they come across the line for the first time is Jaap van Lagen in the race lead. The pole sitter continues to hold strong. Frank Forte Ruiz, the highest he's ever been, in 2nd position. A bit of a lunge there from the number 96, Milan Marchak, for Red Ant Racing. He's 2nd in the rookie classification. The good dice here for 10th overall. I believe there that he's managed to put a car between himself and Muller behind him in the number 13 car, and that's going to prove important in the rookie classification. Both of those cars are rookies. Mace Muller, 11th in the overall classification, and Milan Marchak has moved up to 9th place. He's managed to put Nikola Milkjevic between himself and Mace Muller. You see here this new surface around part of the Hungaroring. They've really put in a massive effort to bring this circuit into the most modern of conditions. Of course, they'll be celebrating 40 years of the Hungaroring here next season. And certainly much more than a fresh coat of paint on the track this year. Big wide moment there. I believe that was Ho, wasn't it? Yes. Nick Ho there just running it wide and has cost himself lots of time and a position. In amongst all of that was 4th. He is actually still 4th. Didn't cost himself a position, but is under massive pressure now from Ryman. In fact, I'll eat my words. He has lost 1 place. He's down to 5th position. Ryman is now with him, as is Sam Yongyan. They almost go 3 wide. Through goes the 47 of Alexander Ryman. They're still side by side, almost 3 wide. Sam Yongyan trying to get involved in this as well. Nico around the outside here. Surely that's not going to work out. Well, he's making it work. And at turn 3, through he goes. That was very impressive driving there from Nick Ho to make the best of a bad situation. That all started unravelling for him somewhat at turn 12. And yet he's found his way to the sharp end of this queue, or has managed to stay at the sharp end of this queue for a minute there. It certainly looked like he was going to drop yet another position. And so, Ryman with a big dive there. And that did not pay off. Alexander Ryman, the Estonian driver, looping the car. And that will be a huge disappointment. Was trying to gain 1 position at what was an unconventional place to make a move. And the net result, unfortunately, is dropping down to 12th place. And that puts Yongyan now then up to 6th position. And he is now the one leading the charge against Ho in this brilliant battle that we've got developing here for 5th position overall. It's Nick Ho from Sam Yongyan from Thomas Raudenis. Oh, and the 13, Mace Muller off the circuit. He ended the previous race at Zandvoort in the wrong direction. We've got a car stopped as well on the run out of the last corner. Didn't quite catch who that was. It might have been Jules Grau, who's at the very rear of the field. Yes, and the 48 car as well. Thomas Kangro, 2 cars off at the same place. And I think that might have happened at the conclusion of the lap previous. Because those 2 cars were there as the leaders went by. So I think Kangro and Grau had a moment just over a lap and a half ago now. Safety car has been deployed, unsurprisingly, with 2 cars stranded there on the main straight, with multiple incidents going on as well, of course, because Mace Muller in the PG Motorsport car, we saw him off track too. As Muller kept going, I believe he has. Yes, Mace Muller has crossed the line. Oh, and there's a replay. Hadn't clocked all of that going on. Looks like there were 3 cars involved in that as well. I think potentially Henry Tuamala might have been the other party in all of that. Big dramas then at the back of the shot. The net result is Kangro and Grau out of this race. The Porsche Estonia entry that's run by Red Ant Racing in the case of Kangro, and Team Race Arts Jules Grau both out. And indeed, there is a 3rd car parked up there. And it does appear to be Tuamala. So 3 cars lost in one fell swoop there, and hopefully we do still have Mace Muller after he went in rear first. Of course, Porsche 992 GT3 Cup car, as with all 911s, is rear engines. So hopefully he's not damaged anything too important there at the back of the car. We saw that he'd taken out the 100-meter board as well. I'm sure won't earn him any audits with anyone who uses physical brake markers on the grid. So Jaap van Lagen went in the lead of the race then. Had just started to slightly build a gap, but that's all been nullified. Porto Ruiz comfortably leading the rookie standings in 2nd overall. He's there in rookie lead and right on the tail of Van Lagen. Knutsen, our championship leader, coming into today's race in 3rd place. Langeveld in 4th. Nick Ho in 5th. Sam Yongyan in 6th place. As we get a look back here at the moment for Nick Ho. Rather sorry for Mace Muller, and he was assisted in that spin, to say the least. Didn't see exactly who it was that helped, let's say, but Mace Muller will not be best impressed. He has crossed the line, incidentally, in this safety car queue, so he is still running, thankfully. It was, by some standards, let's say, relatively speaking, a glancing blow on the tyre wall. There he is at the back of the field, Mace Muller, still running. Down to 14 cars, though, with Tuamala, Kangro and Grau all having their moments. Of course, this weekend, our 3rd weekend of the year in Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux, rounds 5 and 6 of the season, races 5 and 6 of the season, at which point we will be halfway through the year. And after this trip further afield to Hungary, it will be all eyes on the eponymous Benelux region for the final 3 rounds of the season, where we go to Assen, Zolder, and we make a 2nd trip to the current home of the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. There's plenty of time left to go in this race once these cars are cleared. Just over 1/3 of our allotted time is completed. However, red flags are now being displayed around the circuit. So, red flag is out. And our time has stopped as a result of that. So, hopefully this is a fairly brief red. We don't lose any time here in the race, but that is going to neutralize absolutely everything then. Shouldn't affect the order. Typically, you count back 1 lap in a red flag scenario, and He's, of course, been under safety car for a couple of laps now, so I'm not anticipating any changes to the order you have on the left-hand side of your screen there. Jaap van Lagen will continue to hold the lead upon, of course, what we hope is a resumption to this race. I should think it won't be too long until this red is cleared. Those cars all look like they could be wheeled away from the scene. Hopefully all drivers okay. It is, again, such a contrast from what we saw just a few weeks ago here in Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux at Zandvoort. Very, very tricky conditions. And one of several drivers that spun was Mace Muller. However, at Zandvoort, it was unassisted. He got help this time, and there's some confirmation from race control that the race is going to be resumed. So that is a very useful bulletin there. Worth noting that during qualifying today, there were some times deleted due to track limits violations. Track limits are being watched ardently by race control this weekend, so it's going to be important across the race distance, I feel, that everyone stays on the right side of the law and or the white line. Robin Knudsen then for NGT Racing will be disappointed to have lost out on that second place where he started. I thought he got a relatively good start, but I think Van Lagen, of course, cutting across, covering him off, then maybe just allowed Porte Ruiz to make his way through in the first couple of turns of the lap. Of course, so compact through those first few turns. Always a bit of a deep breath moment, especially when you're on the outside around turn 1 or indeed turns 2 and 3. We've already seen a couple of textbook examples of the racing we can get through those first few corners. Tuamala's car being taken away, and the two additional offending vehicles also being dealt with as well by the marshals here at the Hungaroring, who certainly have an unenviable task this weekend. In this heat, you can see the heat coming off the cars in pit lane. And the ambient temperature isn't the coolest either. Air temp of just under 30 degrees Celsius here at the Hungaroring at the moment, which is a wee bit toasty. Certainly not the hottest temperatures one can get at this time of year in Hungary. The heat can be quite something here, but still, perhaps not the weather you'd want to be running around in a full Marshall overall setup. But the Marshals do it for the love of the game, the love of the sport, and we always doff our cap to them. But it must be said, not everyone is in full overalls, as you can see. But some oil down as well, which is going to be another little complication for everybody once this race does get resumed. A second flatbed has arrived, presumably for the Jules Grau car. A shame, really, that Grau isn't quite going to have the same feeling after this race that he had last time out. It was really good to see him get his first top 10 in Carrera Cup Benelux, 8th position last time out in that second race at Zandvoort. It's so interesting as well, I think, that Jaap van Lagen is kind of proving an old adage correct, that you don't necessarily have to win races to win championships. He's 3 points off the championship lead at the moment, is yet to win, but has 2 second places to his name. He also, with 3rd place at the second race at Spa, he was granted points for a 2nd place finish because, again, as we mentioned earlier on, Bertrand Baguette raced but was not classified for points. He won the race, and therefore 2nd place finisher that day, Nick Ho, gained a full bevy of championship points, and Jaap van Lagen was given 18 points for 2nd place, or 20 points, sorry, for 2nd place. Points work their way down to 15th in this scoring system. 25 for a win, 20 for 2nd, and 16 for 3rd. And so Van Lagen, as it stands, if things stay as they are, he will move into the championship lead at the conclusion of today's race. He's got a long way to go yet. Of course, the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux does sometimes stray beyond the eponymous nations, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Benelux, but every season it's ensured that we visit the most thrilling circuits we can, and certainly being one of the first series to tackle this newly rejuvenated Hungaroring is quite an honour for the paddock. Of course, as I alluded to, Assen, Zolder and Zandvoort to come, which certainly is a who's who, if you will, of Dutch and Belgian racing facilities. Assen, I think, will be a very interesting race weekend. Of course, that circuit best known for hosting the Dutch GT, the Dutch round of the MotoGP World Championship on 2 wheels, and is firstly thought of as a bike racing venue, but does produce very exciting racing as well on 4 wheels. We've seen that plenty over the years, especially into that final chicane as well. You can take a lot of speed through the left-hander immediately preceding and try and make a lunge to the inside under braking. Not for the faint of heart, I grant you, but overtakes at Assen tend to be quite spectacular. Ditto here at the Hungaroring as well. That run down to the first corner tempts you almost, whispers in your ear, go on, make a move, dive to the inside. And if you do end up side by side, of course, that can continue for the rest of the first sector. Some of the other spots around the circuit, there are other overtaking opportunities. I would say the strongest outside of turns 1 and 2 would be turn 12, where we saw Mace Muller in a spin earlier on. Of course, we saw that you can try in other places when there was that lunge at turn 9. Unfortunately, that did not pan out for Alexander Reimann. Reimann, the Estonian driver, racing for EST1 Racing. He's been racing Porsche Cup cars across several series in the last 3 years or so. Last year was his first full season in Carrera Cup Benelux. His best finish of the year was 7th, The best we've seen from him this season is 8th place, which was race 2 at Spa. And still sitting there in 10th place in the standings as it stands at the moment. I dare say there's still potential for him to net his best finish of the season, his biggest points haul of the season. Of course, if we're talking CVs, none are more decorated on this grid than Jaap van Lagen, more varied on this grid than Jaap van Lagen, who's maybe won't thank me for saying this, but now 48 years of age. We see there more cement dust going down to soak up some of the oil that's come off these cars, some of the general fluids perhaps. But again, Jaap van Lagen, 48 years of age now, and has been racing now for over 25 years. Did what many a young racing driver has done before him and gone through Formula Fords and got as far as what in the modern day would be considered Formula 2 level machinery. Then moved into tin top racing, won the Euro Cup Megans back in 2006. Raced at Le Mans, raced in the World Touring Car Championship for the Factory Lada program, and has been plying his trade in Porsches as far back as 2007 in Carrera Cup competition. And certainly one mighty benchmark for anyone else on this grid. If you're as fast as Jaap van Lagen in a Porsche Carrera Cup car, that must mean that you're developing quite nicely as a talent. And so far, everyone else has managed to keep van Lagen at bay. He's yet to win a race this year, but again, starting from pole at the beginning of this race, holding the lead, building the lead. I do have to wonder if today's the day Van Lagen claims that first win in Carrera Cup Benelux. Don't think he has ever won a race here before in the series. He's got 2 runners-up spots this season at Spa and Zandvoort, as we've alluded to, but yet to be on the top step. It was, of course, a Team Race Art 1-2 at Zandvoort last time out in the second race. And I think Van Lagen was just as happy for the winning driver, Sam Yongyan, as he was about his second place. It was jubilant scenes for Yongyan last time. Some of the most earnest and sweet joy that I've seen out of anybody in a racing paddock when Yongyan crossed the line and his father, I think, realised that a lot of the efforts he had made personally to make sure Sam could race had been rewarded at long last. So to reiterate, when we do go back to racing, it will be Jaap van Lagen at the front. Frank Porte Ruiz will be behind him. Knutsen, our championship leader from Sweden, will be third. Langeveld fourth. Nick Ho in fifth. Sam Yongyan in sixth. The Lithuanian driver, Domas Radonis, in seventh. Milan Marchak in eighth. Nikola Milkovic in ninth. And Alexander Ryman still recovering from that moment over at turn 9 in 10th overall. Behind him is Yannick Kakela, or Yannick Kakala, I should say. He, for 39 Racing, is the Pro-Am leader in 11th overall, and he is going to be the Pro-Am winner because both Henry Tuamala and Jules Grau are out of the race, and those were the only other 2 entrants into Pro-Am. So at least for today, the 39 car is going to be uncontested in terms of Pro-Am. The race control has confirmed that the incident involving cars 11 and 13 will be investigated after the race. So that confirms two things. Firstly, that there will be an investigation for the moment that sent Mace Muller into a spin, and it also confirms the guilty party, Nikola Milkovic, for Spark Racing Team, then was the driver who got into the rear bumper of Mace Muller, and that will be investigated after the race. It may well be investigated on the circuit before we're finished, though, because Mace Muller will be restarting the race at the back in 14th. Milkovic will be there in 9th position. It's certainly not implausible that they end up having a second round. We mentioned, of course, Jaap van Lagen and his resume. It's also worth noting, I mean, our championship leader, Robin Knudsen, he has quite a resume as well. Plied his trade in Carrera Cup Scandinavia in recent years, took 3 victories last year in Carrera Cup Scandinavia. Ultimately finished 4th in the championship there. He also, in a part-season schedule, took 4 podiums in last year's Carrera Cup Benelux and has focused in on the Benelux series for this season. Understand Larry Tenforda has been in his corner as well. The Swede is certainly a favourite at this stage, of course, leading the championship. We'll see if that's still the case, though, at the end of this race, and indeed the end of this weekend, because we will be at half distance in the championship, 6 of 12 races at the conclusion of this Hungaroring weekend. Cars are rolling again then under safety car conditions here in Hungary. Jaap van Lagen leads the field back out. Will he be clamouring for a prompt resumption to this race? Well, he's going to get one because the safety car has already been confirmed as in this lap. I'm not messing around. We want to get this race started just as much as you. If you're just joining us, a red flag has delayed progress a little bit here in Porsche Carrera Cup Scandinavia. An incident between Henry Tuamala, Thomas Cangro and Jules Grau caused a delay. That was tidied up. Fairly low speed impact for all. I believe drivers okay, but 3 cars scrambled around the circuit. A safety car and then a red flag was really the only solution. Had to scramble a couple of flatbeds and a tractor to deal with everyone. But now we are back to green flag. There will be a little bit of a change to the condition around the circuit with some cement dust down at turn 14. Jaap van Lagen is going to chuck up a makeshift smoke screen in the face of Frank Porte Ruiz as this race returns to action. And there we go. Van Lagen pulls the pin very early. I think the safety car will just about have made it to pit entry by the time he exits turn 13, but Van Lagen not wasting time. And that's quite wise, because that means he can build maybe just a car length or so that he wouldn't otherwise get heading onto this long main straight. You can see there that cement dust down in a traction critical portion of the circuit. And it's Jaap van Lagen that leads the way as the race resumes. Challenge on here for 5th position, and a big lock up there from Nico. And he's going to run out wide. He's going to lose 1 place. He might even end up losing 2. Yongyan then is up into P5. And Nico, I think, might lose out here to Team GP Elite. Thomas Broden is. indeed. Look at that. Domas is through. Confirmation, as if you needed it, that we don't run ABS here in Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. I think Nick Ho there was watching the mirrors, watching Sam Yongyan behind him. Meanwhile, Alexander Ryman has a drive-through penalty for causing a collision. That will have been that somewhat half-hearted lunge to the inside at turn 9 a few laps to go. And he will receive a drive-through for his troubles. That will send him to the rear of the pack. He dust around the circuit. They've kicked up some grass. There's cement dust, as we've seen as well. The surface is certainly suboptimal. Some grip lacking in places. Oh, is really struggling on the resumption of this race. He's down to P7, and the second place driver among the rookies, Milan Marchak for Red Ant Racing, is right there with the yellow number 98 car as well. Meanwhile, the leading rookie driver, Frank Porte Ruiz, in second overall, is staying with Jaap van Lagen. His previous lap was 4/10 quicker than the Dutchman. We see there the 96 of Marchak. As I alluded to, definitely pressuring Nick Ho, having a look everywhere he can for a move. Having failed on the inside at turn 1, he tries it again at turn 2, but the door is once again resolutely shut in his face. But Marchak is keen to build upon his positive result so far this year. Marchak took 2 rookie class wins at Spa at the start of the season, didn't claim any rookie wins in Zandvoort, and frankly with Porte Ruiz up there in second place, I'm not sure that's looking likely this time either. Marchak knows what he's capable of. He's claimed 6th overall twice this season already in 4 races. Jaap van Lagen there, I think, was a bit aggressive through turns 10 and 11, kicked up the dust, didn't take the optimal line to perfect turn 11, and that's left Porte Ruiz right there with him. A real contrast of drivers here in this battle. Van Lagen, the wily veteran, with the better part of 3 decades of racing under his belt. Porte Ruiz, the Andorran driver, meanwhile, just 19 years of age. A race winner in last year's French Formula 4 Championship, and has been very quickly learning the trade of Porsche Carrera Cup racing this year across Benelux, and a handful of cameos in the Porsche Super Cup on the Formula 1 support bill as well. He's taken that leap towards GTs and sports car racing, rather than continuing to scratch and claw on the single-seater ladder. And on the evidence of Zandvoort last time out, and now this, again, another huge step forward for this weekend. It seems to be paying off for Porte Ruiz. That decision is learning very quickly. The top 2, just a few tenths clear of Knudsen there in 3rd place. Langeveld and Yongyan rounding out your top 5, and Yongyan testing the shock absorbers. The flat 6 Symphony working its way around. The revered Benz of the Hungaroring. Van Lagen showing a clean pair of heels for now to Porte Ruiz, but I think there have been a couple of admissions just in the car's body language that Van Lagen is indeed feeling the pressure. Marchak and Milkovic, and indeed Nick Ho, all quite close together. Well, actually, Milkovic is a little bit off Marchak, but 7th and 8th place very close together. And again, I suspect we'll see Marchak have a look here against Nico. Indeed, you see there, 98 going defensive into the first corner, ensuring that the inside line was not available. Turn 2, though, looking very lively indeed. Here's Marchak, the driver of the 96 car for Red Ant Racing, looking hugely impressive this season, the Polish racer. He's brand new to not just GT racing, but motorsport on a full scale. In general, he was karting prior to 2025, went down to Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe to up his teeth in car racing at the beginning of 2025. And that youngster from Poland, again, another driver looking to really build his career here in Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. It's a fabulous platform to kind of stick your flagpole at the top of the mountain. There you're here. The caliber of driver that you're up against as well, it's certainly a test of any new talent that comes in. And right now it is one of those more experienced competitors in the form of Jaap van Lagen, controlling things. He's built that gap out now to over a second, 1.2 at the line between Van Lagen and Porte Ruiz. Knudsen further 1.2 back in third place. The gap's somewhat stabilising, at least among the front runners. I get the feeling that Niels Langeveld might get some pressure from Yongyan before the end of this race. Yongyan is on a tear, in 8th position, where he started this race, not the representative qualifying performance. And we're seeing the race pace out of Yongyan here, as he tries to salvage as many points as he can. You see there those orange crosses on the headlights of Porte Ruiz's car. That denotes that he is a rookie driver. Under 24 years of age with limited experience coming into 2025 of Porsche Carrera Cup competition. Feels like Knudsen has just fallen off this lap, hasn't he? He's lost about half a second through the first 2 sector splits alone. Porte Ruiz was marginally faster that time by than Jaap van Lagen. Took a 10th out of the gap to the leader. Marchak again having a little look to the inside of the 98, but now having to settle there in 8th position. I get the feeling that Knudsen is just starting to perhaps struggle a little bit. Certainly the timing screen telling us that he's falling away from the pace of the top two. Keep an eye on the body language of that NGT racing car. Has he taken the best out of the Michelin tyres? Is he starting to struggle a bit with imbalance? Either way, Langeveld and Yongyan are right there with Knudsen. The Swede cannot take his foot off the gas. Backing on Yongyan's car. Napa, one of those companies that puts so much into racing at the moment. On multiple continents, you'll see that branding on race cars is to be lauded. Can Yongyan move up from 5th position? left to go. Try and make it work. Once the clock hits 0, that confirms that we're on the penultimate lap of the race. 5 minutes 45 plus 1 lap left to go here. Gap has gone out massively this time by between Van Lagen and Porte Ruiz. It's out to 1.7, so 6/10. Gap Van Lagen found that time by. There have been a pair of bulletins in regard to track limits sent out, and they've both been Nikola Milkovic in 9th place. Milkovic is, I think, just slightly pushing the envelope here, trying to get onto terms with Milan Marchak and Nick Go ahead. He's now received a warning flag for track limits, and that's at turn 6, turn 7, which is the chicane that we're just approaching here on your live pictures. So I think perhaps taking maybe too many liberties with the curbs here, which have been flattened somewhat by the rejuvenation of this venue. They used to be quite sheer cliffs among curbs. Now they're a little bit more tempting for you to try and utilise as much as you can and shorten the apex as best you can. Van Lagen then, 2.2 seconds now clear of Porte Ruiz. Sector by sector, he's getting quicker. In fact, he was purple in the first sector on this lap. So I think Van Lagen has really just been managing things here. He's raced at the Hungaroring on many occasions previously in high-powered single-seaters and GT cars, so knows his way around this track. And I think on this occasion, at this venue, it just seems as though Van Lagen's experience is the X factor. Knutsen, meanwhile, under immense pressure here now. The third position, Langeveld around the outside at turn 2. More than a little bit of paint exchange there, but the inside beckons at turn 3 for Langeveld. Oh, but he runs it wide, just about cuts back onto the tarmac in the nick of time. Knutsen tries to have a look around the outside. Careful, Jen. Yongyan keeping a watching brief on this 3-car battle as it now is as well, but Knutsen in that NGT racing car has just been struggling for outright pace in the last several laps, and he's been punished by Niels Langeveld, who's moved up to 3rd position. Langeveld, who sits 3rd in the championship points at the moment, he will edge closer to our current points leader, Knutsen, now that Knutsen is in the rearview mirrors. But yeah, Van Lagen, of course, will be the new championship leader so long as the order stays as it is. We will have 3 more laps of racing. As Van Lagen has already crossed the line, we will have 3 more laps to go here. Car 15 has been reprimanded for track limits. That's at turn 4, and that's Max Schlickenmeyer, who's moved up to 12th position, actually, just in the last couple of moments at the expense of Alexandra Viteva, which puts Max up to 4th among the rookies in the car graphic by Kurt Ecke Motorsport car. There's a name, Kurt Ecke, a real Porsche legend, still competes. Runs a beautiful 993 Cup car. Races. We saw there a big corner cut from Robin Knutsen. That was certainly testing the limits of what you can get away with. Knutsen trying to find something here to stay in 4th position, to remain ahead of Sam Yongyan, and also to potentially try and claim that podium back from Niels Langeveld. It will be 2 laps remaining this time by for Van Lagen, who has really stretched his legs at the front of the field. This has been a comprehensive display of how to dominate the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux race. And if it was going to come from anyone, I suppose Jaap Van Lagen will do. Always a pleasure to see these drivers who have so much history, so many accolades under their belts, still at the top of their game. Van Lagen for Team Raceart. Certainly still on top of his game and may soon be on top of the championship standings, so long as these last couple of laps unfold in his favour. 992 GT3 Cup. Speeding out of turn 3 there. You can see just how composed, how calm the car looks underneath him. Smooth driving. He has, however, lost quite a lot of time there through the first sector split. He lost half a second, in fact, through the first sector. The gap for the lead is down to 2.4 seconds. It was up over 3. Now, is Van Lagen just managing the car, managing the race, keeping everything in check for Sunday? One suspects yes. It could be, but he's managing something here. He was certainly staying off the curbs a little more than previous laps. At the exit of turn 4, I noticed that. It does look like he's nursing something here to me. I mean, the gap is down to 1.8 seconds. I don't think that one simply hands over almost 2 seconds of advantage, no matter how much they're managing the race. We'll begin the final lap this time by. And Frank Porter Ruiz has taken another 4/10 out of Jaap Van Lagen just in the final sector. The gap is down to 1.4. I said the car looked composed and calm, but the timing screens tell me that actually it's looking slow. Can Frank Porter Ruiz do anything about Jaap Van Lagen on this final lap of the race? Is Van Lagen playing a cool, calm and collected game, or is he sweating in that open face helmet, wondering what's going on with the car? Certainly Frank Porter Ruiz has got the hurry up on here. He's more than home free in terms of securing a rookie class win. But what about the overall win? It could fall his way. Porter Ruiz's best finish of the year came in the previous race at Zandvoort. And it was a 5th place finish. 2nd place is going to be a huge step forward, but he's flashing the headlights there, Porter Ruiz, saying, I'm right here with you. But I think Jaap Van Lagen is just about going to hold on. I'm not convinced this has been Van Lagen's plan. I think the pace has leaked out of that car somewhere. But all the same, Van Lagen powers out of the final corner here at Hungary. And it's the win, the first of the season for Jaap Van Lagen. And with that win, he will become our new championship leader in a Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. Porter Ruiz 2nd, Langeveld takes 3rd place, Knudsen held on to 4th position. First, the Pro-Am cars across the line shortly. That will be Jani Kakala. He finished just behind Mace Muller, who managed to move up to 10th position after ending up all the way down in 14th at one point. I tell you what, that was not the race conclusion that Jaap van Lagen had in mind, I don't think. He wins overall ahead of rookie winner Frank Porte Ruiz with his best finish in Carrera Cup Benelux. Niels Langeveld third, Knutsen fourth. Yongyan in fifth position ahead of Nick Ho, the second of the rookies. Milan Marchak in eighth behind Domas Rodonis. Milkjevic in ninth. Mace Muller rounding out the top 10 ahead of Kakala, Schlickenmeyer, Veteva, Alexander Ryman, the last of the finishers, as we lost Tuamala, Kangro, and Grau over the course of that race distance. The fastest lap of the race, as you see there on the graphic, a 47.0 from Jaap van Lagen. He was certainly very fast. But towards the end there, it just seemed as though not all was well. If he was simply managing and only taking as much of a winning margin as he needed, then he's a very confident man, put it that way. I wouldn't do it, but then again, I'm not Jaap van Lagen. The fastest ever race lap here, per my reckoning, in Porsche Carrera Cup, is a 1:47.6 from Cas Havercourt in Carrera Cup Germany. Jaap van Lagen just did a 47.0. Of course, the track has been minorly tweaked with some new curbing with some new track surface, and I believe Van Lagen during that race may have set the fastest ever Carrera Cup lap of any series, which is a very impressive feat in itself. But a race win for Van Lagen will launch him up the standings. Knutsen with only a fourth place finish. He will score 13 points to Van Lagen's 25. It means that Van Lagen is going to be 9 clear of Knutsen in the championship at the end of this Saturday. His first win, a big one. First of the season for Jaap van Lagen, I believe his first in Carrera Cup Benelux as well. A mighty effort from the venerable Dutchman. I think he also was quick to say well done to Frank Porte Ruiz, who with second place has scored his first podium in the overall consideration in Carrera Cup Benelux. There it is. Ruiz made sure by ever so slightly running Knutsen off the circuit that he moved up into second position. Top two would remain in that formation, all kicking off though further behind. That was the moment that Alexander Ryman cost himself some time and ultimately a drive-through penalty for causing a collision. There was a moment for Mace Muller as he got tagged by Nicola Milkold coming out of the final corner. After diligent work from the marshals, the race surface was ready to go once again, and Jaap van Lagen turned on the afterburners. Porte Ruiz close in towards the end of the race. The wily veteran Jaap van Lagen, the team racer, claims his first win of the season here at the Hungaroring. You see there the podium awaiting our top three drivers. What a race we had there. Van Lagen, yes, it was lights to flag, but even with a lights to flag win, you can have a spectacle, and certainly I think we got that there. Just Van Lagen's class, the drama at the end there. Was he just taking it easy, or was something amiss? Answers on a postcard for that one. I'm not sure I'd want to wager, but Van Lagen did everything right. And he will be the new championship leader in Carrera Cup Benelux. Again, highly provisional commentator mathematics dictates that he should be 9 points clear of Knudsen in the standings. Incidentally, Knudsen will have lost ground to Niels Langeveld, who will be 12 points back from him in third in the standings at the conclusion of this race, by my reckoning. So a rejig of the top three in the point standings, but still the top three are Van Lagen, Knudsen and Langeveld, looking like the class of the field this year, but those upstarts like Sam Yongyan will be making their bid for glory in race 2 tomorrow. Tomorrow's race, the grid formed by second best lap times per my understanding, and unfortunately for Yongyan, that's going to make him 8th on the grid again for our second race of the weekend. So Yongyan isn't going to be up there. He's going to have to battle through again. But if you've done it once, you can do it again, Sam. Perhaps not quite what he wanted after a first podium of the season, followed by a first win in Carrera Cup Benelux at Zandvoort, but in the grand scheme of things, I think today was a very good race for Yongyan. 5th position from 8th on the grid in Carrera Cup, where battles and overtakes are hard fought and hard won. So, of course, Frank Porte Ruiz with that second place finish, have to give him his flowers. What a result for him as well. First among the rookies, second overall, his best finish in Carrera Cup Benelux. I think with that, he may well have moved into the rookie points lead as well.
In third position comes to the podium someone who knows this track quite well, Niels Langeveld.
Niels Langeveld. Welcome to the third step of the podium.
In second position comes to the podium, Frank Porte Ruiz. Q1 track racing. And the winner,
Porte Ruiz.
This track quite well.
The second step
is the legendary, the well-known Jaap van Lagen.
And here is Jaap van Lagen.
And Raceart is our winning team, so Dennis, their mechanic, is also on the podium. Well done, the winning team is Raceart. And it's time
as we hear
for the national anthem.
The Dutch national anthem. Here is your winners.
Well done, congratulations. And here comes the trophies given by the series manager Oliver Arts. Jönnek a trófeák először a harmadik helyezettnek in third position.
And then the trophy presentations. Niels Langeveld for Red Ant Racing
And the trophy comes to the second position driver.
receives that third place trophy. Interesting, isn't it? 3 teams in the top 3. Q1 Track Racing's Frank Porte Ruiz. Second step of the podium. His best result will be looking to go one better tomorrow. But at the top, it is Jaap van Lagen for Team Raceart, proving that sometimes experience is the most important thing.
is time for your official photos,
Of course,
guys.
race 2 is to come on Sunday morning here at 11:50
It's time for
Central European
champagne.
Summertime local time. We will be back racing with more from Carrera Cup Benelux. Can anyone beat Jaap van Lagen? He is the race winner. He is the new championship leader here in Carrera Cup Benelux. What a day for Team Race Up. What a day for Jaap van Lagen. Tomorrow, we reach half distance with our 6th race of the season in Carrera Cup Benelux. But we do have another podium to come, which I do believe we're going to get to see, which is great. I was not certain whether we'd get all of them in. I'm not sure there's going to be a Pro-Am podium, unfortunately, because there was only one finisher. Jani Kakala will no doubt get himself a trophy and some champagne, but whether there is a formalised presentation, I don't know. I think it'll be the rookie podium that we have next.
Let's go with the podium celebration of the rookies category. In 3rd position comes to the podium. Harmadik helyezett az újoncok értékelésében Mace Müller.
Mace Muller to the 3rd step of the podium here, and rookies 10th overall for him.
In the rookies category from Red Ant Racing, Milan Marchak. And the winner of the rookie categories from Q1 Track Racing.
2nd place there to Milan Marchak in this category, but the fastest rookie by far on Saturday here in Hungary, Frank Porte Ruiz, had to wait till the 2nd event of the season to
listen to the national anthem of the winning driver of the rookie category.
win, but win again he has as we hear the anthem.
Mace Müller, Milan Marchak, Frank
There you
Porte
go.
Ruiz, and
Jani Kakala up there as well as the Pro-Am winner, sharing the top step with our rookie winner, Frank Porte Ruiz. 3rd position in rookie Mace Muller for PG Motorsport.
Aztán a második helyezett, aki Milan Marchak, és a győztese ennek a
2nd
kategóriának,
position to Milan Marchak
akinek a himnuszát is meghallgattuk.
in the rookie standings, and your
From Andorra,
rookie
well
winner,
done.
Frank Porte Ruiz, will be
And
delighted
one
with
more
that,
trophy
but
for the winning
he'll
Pro-Am
know that he
driver
had a
és
car
van
that
még
could have
egy
won that race. He'll know
kategória
if he can
győztesének,
find a bit more
Jani
speed for
Kakala.
Sunday, he can challenge Jaap van Lagen in the overall standings. And not as well to 39 Racing and Jani Kakala for his result there.
Please stand together for an official photo.
And as the pictures are taken for the rookie/Pro-Am podium,
You can
we again
start the
remind you
celebration
that we'll
with
be
the
back tomorrow
champagne.
morning at 11:50 local time for more Carrera Cup Benelux action.
Oh.
Thank you so much for joining us. Sunday will mark the halfway point of the season. Who will come out on top in race 2 at the Hungaroring? Tune in to find out.